Democratic candidate, I will be an American president. That's the job of a president, to represent all of us, not just our base or our party.
Because only when we come together can we rebuild our economy the right way. For working people, Biden's plan? No tax increases if you make under $400,000. Create 18 million new jobs. Higher wages. With ideas both parties can support.
This is not a partisan moment. This must be an American moment. I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-262-7044. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-262-7044 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-262-7044 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-262-7044.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper pet kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
I feel like I'm being haunted by a pair of headphones. Everywhere I go is a creepy ad for headphones I looked at one time. I hate feeling like I'm being watched. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
The Michigan Wolverines host Michigan State. Pre-game Saturday at 11. Kickoff at noon on 97.1 The Ticket. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, two Grand Slam coming up at 7:25. Mike Doc, 7:35. Today, I didn't realize this, so I decided, something has to happen today. 2 days before Halloween, so Google around, and lo and behold, Happy National Cat Day.
Aww. Happy Cat Day.
Heather, you're the only one who I'm going to say National Happy Cat Day too, because you're the only one out of all of us that have cats.
Me too. I've got two of them, and
Yes,
I'm
you
showing
do.
you one of them right now.
Oh, which one's this?
That's Ace.
Ace? Happy Cat Day, Ace.
Happy Cat Day.
What kind of cat is she?
It's a male.
No, it's impossible.
Furry.
It's
impossible.
It's impossible, right, John?
It is.
See, here's my whole thing with cats, and it's such a guy thing. When I look at cats, I assume, and I know the real deal, but I just assume that cats are feline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the guys, I know there are some, and you can call, I don't care. What guys just have cats and not dog?
Yeah.
There are some.
I know there are.
There are some men that are cat men.
They're weird. I mean, I love the cat. I love Catwoman growing up as a kid. That was my first, shall we say, urge. Cats are just, they're pain in the ass. Now look, I have problems with my dogs right now because one's getting old. Yeah. I remember I house sat somebody was George Michael.
Oh, you did?
Yes, when I worked for him, and they had a cat. I had to house it because of their cat.
Uh-huh.
And I'm reading the newspaper, newspaper in bed, and the cat's like just, going, jumping all over into the newspaper. It's just like, just.
Were you in his bed?
I love it.
Yeah.
Were you?
Leave me alone. Cat. I mean, look, you can't play ball with a cat, really.
Yeah, he won't fetch.
No. No,
won't sit.
Yeah, look, cats have, the good things. You don't have to let them out. They have their little, kitty litter and all that crap. That's good. That's a good thing about a cat. But to me, cats are just boring.
Oh, I think they're hilarious. They're such jerks. They do whatever they want and nothing that you ever want them to do. They do always the complete opposite. I think they're hilarious. I like dogs, and I would rather have a dog.
Good. I
I
was
can
going to
choose
ask you.
between a dog and a cat.
I was going to ask you,
I
is
am
that
much-
not an option? If John the Hunter came in your house and had to shoot one of your pets, the dog or cat.
I would rather it be like you have to give the cat to
I know.
and one of your pets to a friend. Which one would it be?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sorry, Ace, the cat would go.
Yeah, you can't take them for a walk.
No.
You go for a walk, put a cat on a leash, you end up carrying it.
I know.
But that's why some people like cats, is because they don't want to take an animal for a walk. They don't want to have the big responsibility. You can leave a cat for days and they're fine as long as they have food, water,
Right.
and a litter box. They're not as much of a responsibility as a dog is. A dog is a lot of work, and some people don't want that.
That's true. I understand that, but for the fun aspect of it,
Oh, yeah.
come on.
And just the happy aspect, too, right? They come up and they put their head on your lap and they
Lick your
lick
face.
your face. Yeah, it's just, hey,
I know.
it is what it is.
Cats can do that too.
I know, but you're always
Come
worried
over,
about
they
getting
sit on my
clawed.
lap.
They
Yes,
lick your
I
face and all of a sudden they
know.
take a swipe at you.
My cats, though, they let me clip their nails, so their nails are they're not too sharp.
Oh
which is
wow,
nice.
that's exciting. Hey boy, should I get a
Wait,
cat
do
or
you
a
clip your
dog?
dog's nails? Like, we clip our dog's nails? It's the same. I mean,
Take it
it's.
to the groomer.
Yeah,
the dress.
groomer. Yeah, when they go to the groomer, they get their dogs.
Some people take their cats to the groomer, too. I mean, I'm just here to defend cats a little bit, so,
I know. I understand that. But,
I'm a cat fan.
I understand. Look, I get it. There are tons of people that love cats. I just don't know any males that love cats.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I do.
They're out there, I swear.
You know what? If I do, they're hiding. They won't admit it.
They won't admit it.
They're like
won't admit
the
it.
secret.
It's like I think guys put up with cats, especially if their girlfriend.
Well, yeah, they put up with it because they inherited
It's
it.
there, and they sometimes like it. And
Yeah.
it's fun.
This is one quality I just have to deal with.
Yes, exactly. If I want to deal with her, I got to deal with her cat. I mean, her cat.
It's the Two Grand Slam. Your chance to win $2,000 in 60 seconds. Brought to you by Genesis Credit Union.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your chance again to win $2,000. It is the Two Grand Slam. I had a little trouble with this one. I think I got like 8. So here we go. The way this works, we ask you 10 questions. Okay? You have in 60 seconds. You get every question correct. You get $2,000. You get $25 for each correct one. We won't tell you if you're right or you're wrong. We will also, you should, if you don't know it right away, pass so you can come back to it as time allows. Very, very simple. All right. Let's see if Derek from Clinton Township can be our big winner. What's up, Derek?
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Have you ever played the Two Grand Slam before?
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Another repeat customer.
I know. Your heart, you sound like you're getting a little bit very excited here, Derek.
Thanks.
All right. So how did you do the last time?
8?
Not bad.
Setting the bar high.
Yeah, well, I'm going to set I think this is difficult, so I'm going to set the bar at 6.
Okay.
He should be.
I think 6, yeah, for somebody that with his experience.
Yeah, 6 is fair because we haven't had anybody go over 6 in a long time. All right. You know the rules, Derek. The clock will start when I begin the first question. Are you ready?
I am.
All right, here we go. Who is Michigan State's starting quarterback?
Lombardi.
Who are the Carolina Panthers hosting tonight?
Pass.
What U.S. city last hosted the Summer Olympics?
Salt Lake City.
Who is Joe Biden's running mate for vice president?
Harris.
Who leads the NFL in rushing yardage this season?
Pass.
What is the capital of New Mexico?
Albuquerque.
He played Apollo Creed in the original Rocky.
Weathers.
Who is the only undefeated team left in the NFL right now?
Steelers.
This rapper had the 2000 hit EI.
Julio.
Who is the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays?
Cash.
Who are the Carolina Panthers hosting tonight?
Saints.
Who leads the NFL in rushing?
Derrick Henry.
There you go. You got 6, right? I got 6.
Yep.
All right, way to go. You hit the bar.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job, Derek. So 6 times 25, that's $150.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good Thursday.
Way to go, Derek.
Thank you.
Nice job. You sound a little disappointed.
A little bit.
Yeah. That's okay. You did fine. I think you'll realize that the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics are a little different, but other than that, you made a good guess.
Yeah.
It was Atlanta, wasn't it?
Yes, it
Yes.
was. Yes, it was.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's it. All right, hang on the line. We'll get the pertinent information. All right.
So,
What?
that's how you play the game.
Yes.
That is how you play. He played it to a T. He should be proud of himself. He
Yeah.
made some very good, educated guesses. Especially the Coolio one was a great guess for
Yes.
that kind.
No doubt.
It was just the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly. And he played the clock very well, too.
Yeah, he had time to go back.
Yes, he did. He did not know that the Carolina Panthers are hosting the Atlanta Falcons tonight. Like we mentioned, the last United States city to host the Summer Olympics was Atlanta. Let's see. The capital of New Mexico is not Albuquerque. It is Santa Fe. Nelly had the 2000 hit EI. So there we go. The 2 Grand Slam, as always, brought to you by the wonderful folks in Genesis Credit Union. All right, coming up next, we'll be joined by the voice of the National Hockey League. He's stepping down, and he's with us next. Mike Doc Emmerich, 97.1 The Ticket.
Apply for a loan anyplace, anytime, on any device, and get your loan fast. Welcome to Simple. Welcome to Genesis.
The next time you're in Vegas, head to the D Las Vegas. It's not on the Strip. It's in downtown Vegas. The odds are better, the party's bigger, and you'll feel right at home. Book your stay today at thed.com. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Vegas.
Hi, my name is Mary Patterson, and I'm the proud daughter of L. Brooks Patterson. I watched my father in politics for over 40 years. My dad kept his politics clean and fair. He was truly a public servant for the people of Oakland County. He only did what was best for them. My family and I are voting for Mike Kowal for Oakland County Executive, and I hope you do too.
I'm Mike Kowal, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mike Kowal for Oakland County Executive.
Hey, it's Wojo here. Ford's commitment to breast cancer has been driving action for years, and Ford celebrates those powering the fight against breast cancer right here in Detroit. Here's Karen McDonald, founder of Wrapped in Love, creating fashionable and functional clothing and accessories for cancer patients, delivering both style and dignity every day.
Wrapped in Love was inspired by my mom. I made her a wrap during her illness, and I saw the difference that it made in her overall self-esteem. And I decided then that I wanted to continue to do that for others as well. I get my inspiration from the cancer patients and survivors as they share their needs for comfortable and stylish headwear for hair loss or chemo-port accessible clothing. There's been a number of patients and caregivers that have contacted me to say that it made such a difference both on the inside and on the out.
Ford, built for Detroit, built for America.
Hi, I'm Keela Hughes.
And I'm Gideon Ressa.
Okay, so keeping up with the flood of news every morning is obviously rough, and that is why we're here to help you cut through the chaos and all that clickbait with our podcast, What a Day.
That is right. We are breaking down the biggest news stories of the day to help you understand what matters, why it matters, how you can fix it, what else is going on.
That's right. So new episodes of What a Day come out every morning, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern.
You can find it on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your shows.
Professional painters know waiting between coats for trim, doors, and cabinets to dry is time out of your day and money out of your pocket. Their premium cabinet and trim enamel from the Home Depot lets you finish faster. With excellent flow and leveling, it dries to the touch in 1 hour, and less dry time means less downtime. Bare premium cabinet and trim enamel, just $39.98 a gallon, and that's before the Pro Extra discount. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in store and online. What's hot for business this week at Staples?
Small prices, big savings.
Help your business go big with amazing prices on everything you need to pack and ship.
Right now at Staples, save 20% on UPS expedited shipping services. Plus, save up to 30% on select shipping supplies.
Shop in-store or get same-day delivery through Instacart and save big at Staples.
Ends 10/31 while supplies last. In-store only. See store for details. Instacart fees, taxes, and or tips may apply. Delivery subject to availability. Additional terms apply. That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike Pacura of National Benefit Plans. For affordable health insurance, log on to nbphealth.com.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime.
Starting route to 1642 Capitol Avenue. In 1.8 miles, turn left onto West 14 Mile
Jamie
Road.
Samuelson Studio. Here's Stoney and Jansen.
97.1 The Ticket. All right, this is a big thrill, okay? When I grew up in suburban Philadelphia in the late 60s and early 70s, like, I'm old, okay? But I used to, this is what kids don't have today. Unfortunately, maybe, or unfortunately, I used to listen to a lot of sporting events, my radio, my clock radio. And even in Philly, you'd get, like, WNBC and listen to Marv Albert to the Rangers and Lloyd Pettit to the Blackhawks. Obviously, Bruce Martin and WJR would come in. And there was Lloyd Pettit, Chicago Blackhawks, and there was this station in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I would listen to Fort Wayne Comets hockey. Some guy named Bob Chase. I know they played the Muskegon Mohawks, the Port Huron Flags. And lo and behold, later in life, our next guest actually was, I believe, the play-by-play voice for the Port Huron Flags, and that is the great, the one, the only, Mike Emmerich. How you doing, Doc?
I am doing wonderfully. You don't sound that old, but you must be, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. I'm 61.
Well, I've got you by well over a decade. And as I sit here in the suburbs of Port Huron, above me, I have two jerseys hanging above me. One is a replica of a 1960 Fort Wayne Comets jersey, which is the smiling spaceman. And the other one right next to it is the crossed flags, which is still worn by youth hockey teams in Port Huron to this day.
In 1 mile, turn left onto West 14 Mile Road.
Remember that. Bob Chase, of course, you may know, is my icon growing up.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up 45 miles away from Fort Wayne in a town of 600 in north central Indiana. And our little school was like any school you'd see in the movie Hoosiers. We had the compact basketball court with the stage at the end where the band sat. And at the other end was the trophy case. In our case, was out in the hallway right near the other end. But it was typical. There were 13 celebrities in our town of 600, the coach and the 12 varsity players.
So how did you become fixated on hockey in such a Indiana? I mean, you mentioned Hoosiers.
I went to a game, and that did it. And I think probably a lot of your listeners who care about hockey, they saw a game live. And of course, if they grew up in the Detroit area, they'd see a lot of games live at a very young age. But in that era of Indiana, we had a basketball team playing at the Allen County Coliseum called the Pistons, and they later moved to Detroit. And then we had a hockey team come in 1952. Well, 8 years later, I had tested
At the
my
light,
parents long
turn
enough
left
to
onto
make
West
my
14
brother
Mile Road,
in
then
December
turn right onto
1960.
Inkster Road.
I walked into the Coliseum wanting to be a baseball announcer, and I walked out wanting to be a hockey announcer. You can kind of imagine what I was 14 at the time. You can imagine what my guidance counselor in high school thought when I told him down the hallway from the gym was his office. And I told him I wanted to be a professional hockey announcer. The look I got was, well, unusual.
Well, Doc, having said all of that, Whether
At the
as
stop
a fan,
sign,
as a spectator,
turn right onto
or
Inkster
as an
Road.
announcer, what's the greatest game you've ever seen?
I don't know. There'd be about 100. The night that one of them that comes to mind really quickly was just because of the magic of the event, and it was postponed for a year.
In
So there's
1.9
hope for the
miles,
fans
turn left onto
in
West
Minnesota
12 Mile
to
Road.
have the Winter Classic in their venue a year from now, because it's already been canceled for January 1st. Was that 105,000 biggest attendance ever for an outdoor game at Michigan Stadium. Because it snowed all day, there was concern about the Maple Leafs bus
Starting
getting to the
route to
game on time
1642
because
Capitol
it was tied
Avenue.
up in traffic, and of course the snow added to it.
In 1.6 miles, turn left onto West 12 Mile Road.
For football games, and there were traffic jams in town, and it snowed all day, and the game went to a shootout, and it was cold. I think it was 18 at face-off, and nobody cared because it was such a magnificent event. And it normally takes me to get back here an hour and a half from Ann Arbor. It took 4 hours, and I didn't care either. There were Red Wings fans pitching in to help Toronto fans push their car out of snowbanks, and vice versa. I remember that Toronto won the game in a shootout, but there were so many magnificent plays made in the game that didn't ruin it for Red Wings fans probably, and not for Toronto fans either.
Mike Doc Emmerich is with us. He's got a book called Off Mike with our good buddy Kevin Allen as the co-author. All right, so you mentioned playing games in a football stadium. You also, as we've played the clip a lot of times, did a game for CBS football. It was Brett Favre's first ever pass where he completed it to himself, correct?
Yes. What happened was that a guy named Rick Gentile at CBS Sports gave me a chance to do a lot of events that they just needed extra people for. And a brilliant announcer out of Notre Dame named Tim Ryan always did the U.S. Open tennis tournament in the fall. So they needed somebody to work for 2 games in the fall to cover the 2 weeks Tim was gone. And they had just hired a guy to be an analyst with Tim, who had just won Super Bowls for 3 different teams, named Matt Millen. So Matt was assigned to do the first 2 games with me. I hadn't done any football since I had graduated undergrad college 25 years before. We wound up in Green Bay. It was Mike Holmgren's first game as the Packers coach. It was Dennis Green's first game as Minnesota's coach. So we were all a bunch of rookies thrown in together, and Claude Revez kicked a field goal in overtime, and Minnesota won. Now, the second game was down in Tampa Bay. By the way, it was Mikowski, Don Mikowski.
The Magic Man.
Yeah. He was the quarterback that game, and he started the second game down in Tampa Bay. Well, things kind of went south fast. And so finally Brett came into the game in the second quarter, I believe it was, and he, of course, was pass crazy, and he was good at it, though he had never completed a pass, to my recollection. In his brief stint with Atlanta, I think he tried 4 passes or 5 passes and had not completed any. But the first one was to himself because it ricocheted off one of the on-rushing Buccaneers linemen and came into his own arms for a little bit of a loss. It's on YouTube, and I was just trying to recall who the Buccaneers player was that was coming in on him that got a piece of it. But so that is one of those things that was an accident on my part. I was just right place, right time to watch a guy that became historic and legendary trot onto the field in a Packers uniform for the very first time.
Now, announcers are never supposed to root or care who wins. I'm curious, being a proud citizen of the United States, when the United States played Canada in Vancouver for the gold medal, it was one of the great games of all time. Crosby scores the overtime goal. Were you bummed a little bit?
No, because I thought that the one thing we were cautioned about, if we had any leaning that way at all,
in 6.2 miles, take exit 14C onto M39 and Southfield Freeway.
Cheer for the United States in any competition competitions in any of the sports in the Olympics. And we were reminded of that every time we had a seminar before the Olympics took place. Now, you realize that, you're a pretty cold fish if you don't care how things turn out. But by the same token, we were celebrating great hockey that day.
Yes.
And it still stands in my memory as one of the great events that I ever saw. And I'll try to condense this into 30 seconds because I'm sure you have drive time on Thursday. You've got commercials. So here it is. That's about hockey. Outcome of the out. Last minute of play. Goaltender. Zach Parise scores out of a net mouse scramble. Game goes to overtime. Crosby scores to win it. Afterwards, we carry interviews with both Crosby and Ryan Miller. And both of them were eloquent in what they had to say. They were great gentlemen. 27 million people, the most that we ever had, saw that. And most of them may have been hockey fans, but not all of them were. And I think it was a great statement made for people that hadn't seen hockey before.
So for those that haven't seen hockey before, whether it's the NHL, it's Pee Wee hockey, it's college hockey, or the Olympics, what's the difference in all of those broadcasts? And is there a commonality in all those different levels?
No, you just if you love the sport, it's not selling the sport. It's just expressing the love you have for it and the sacrifice that people have made to get to this level. There are probably a lot of hockey moms and dads listening right now that are nodding their heads over a cup of coffee. They know what it's like because you get sometimes the worst ice times in the morning as a kid is growing up and has this dream of playing. And maybe he never plays beyond youth hockey, but he or she just loves being out on the ice and playing, and so the parents support them with that. And it doesn't matter what level it is. And you may go beyond, not even beyond 14 years of age, but you look back on it and say, I played that sport when I was young.
Well, one of the great things about you is your vocabulary and the words that you've come up with to describe different things, passes, things. I don't know if feather is yours, but do you have a favorite? And another question, I don't know if this is yours. When did the boards turn into the wall?
That's a coaching phrase.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really adopt that very often. I still refer to the boards, and once in a while the wall, just to change the language a little bit. Early 90s, I think I started hearing coaches say that. And they started referring to it as the wall. Years before, when it was individual boards, you may see old pictures of Gordie Howe stick handling along the boards at Olympia Stadium, and you see the individual slats. And so it was called the fence at one time, and even in old rule books, NHL rule books, it was referred to as a fence. Well, it's probably because it had individual slats in it, so that's probably why it was. But no, I don't have any favorite ones. I think probably an archaic one that is attributed to me, but others used it too, was waffle board. And that is only now archaic because the blocker that a goaltender holds is no longer brown. It's team colors now, and it doesn't look like a waffle from the rivets anymore because it's not brown anymore. So I don't use it very often anymore.
Doc, you mentioned at the beginning Bob Chase was your icon. And to those of us that have listened to hockey or listened to all other sports, you would be one of the icons for us. As you look around now or you listen to games, who are some of the announcers that you enjoy listening to in today's sports landscape?
Well, I've got a chance to work next to Bob, and I always liked his call of baseball. Now that Jim Sullivan is retired, and I was not a but and I think when I've even been up in Escanaba and places like that, and gone into hotels, and I see a picture of Ernie Harwell speaking to a service club in Escanaba, and I'm thinking, this guy is like Gordie Howe. He was such an ambassador. He was all sighted Homer announcer in Pittsburgh sold me on my favorite team, the Pirates, years ago. But the guys now, I of course enjoy Al Michaels doing football, and Bob Costas doing baseball. I guess they would be among my favorites. I've listened to Marv Albert for so many years doing basketball, and the yes call whenever a ball goes swishing through the net.
He was a great Ranger announcer. He used to do that show too this week in the NHL, you know.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Locally, I mean, the two Kens are pretty damn good too, right?
Oh, yeah. And what you have locally is not only excellence, but stability. Do you know that the tandem of Ken and Paul and Ken and Mickey are the longest serving two tandems in their media in the league?
Wow.
And you have that. And you have one that's almost 25 years and one that's just short of 25 years. And that stability and that predictability, and so the fans know that the fortunes of the team may change, as they have, but those guys are going to be together year after year, and that's refreshing, and it's also comfortable to have those announcers and knowing that they're going to be there each year.
All right, a couple of quick things before we let you go. I always have this argument with one of our producers who's with us about the greatest of all time. He says Gretzky. Yes.
Take the exit. Turn left onto Capitol Avenue. Is on your left. 1642 Capitol Avenue. The destination is on your left. 1642 Capitol Avenue.